Hi everyone, welcome to our class this morning. My name is Yen, and we're here at this beautiful Alliance studio in Ang Mo Kio to teach our first Yin class online. Thanks for joining us. As with most Yin classes, let's try to come within ourselves in our practice. Try to resist the temptation to really push yourself. We're looking at about a 60 to 70% effort. And because the holds will be longer, if you find yourself catching up on your breath or feeling that the stretch is a little bit strenuous, so just try to pull back. Really take the opportunity to listen to your body and connect with your breath. Shall we start? Okay. So let's start with a small meditation. So go ahead and find yourself in a cross-legged position. You can have your hands palms up or palms down on your knees. And begin to close your eyes. Begin to tune into your breath, noticing the inflow and outflow of each breath. Allowing your spine to grow long as you allow the rest of your body to relax. With each inhale, feel your lungs expanding, and with each exhale, relaxing. Inhale, expand. Exhale, relax. As you continue to breathe, begin to notice any areas of tightness in your body. Can you bring more attention and awareness to those areas? Can you relax your shoulders? Can you relax your face? Relax your belly? Relax your legs? And allow that breath to flow into your nose, into your lungs, and into the rest of your body. Throughout the practice, if you find yourself having a lot of thoughts come up, just allow your thoughts to wash over you. We want to acknowledge those feelings, but not grow attached to them. Just allow them to wash over you or float away like clouds in the sky. Let's take one inhale together. Inhale and exhale. We'll bring our palms together to heart center. Gentle bow of the head. And at this moment, I'd like to invite you to set an intention for this class. For me, my intention would be sending love and positive thoughts to all our medical staff and healthcare workers. On your next breath, gently open your eyes. And I welcome you to class. Namaste. For the first pose, we're going to start working on our hips. So bring the soles of your feet together. And this is butterfly pose, so Baddha Konasana. And now your feet can be closer to your groin or further away. And this will activate both your inner groin and your outer hips. Now in this position, take a breath to extend your spine. And as you exhale, begin to slowly crawl forward, allowing your body to fold perhaps putting your forehead on your feet or your hands. If you can't fold very far, consider using some blocks, if you have them, or a bolster, and just placing your forehead on your block. We'll stay here for a couple of minutes. And what I'd like you to do is really begin to focus on those sensations that are being created on your hips and your inner groin. As you fold forward, begin to notice that quality of your breath. And really think about how you're feeling this morning or evening, depending on where you are. Try to experience that rounding of the back as you move your body forward, allowing your body to come to a position of rest and relaxation. Take an inhale and exhale. With each inhale, can you feel yourself creating more space in your body? And with each exhale, allowing your body to become heavier and more relaxed. Can you soften the back of your neck? Can you close your eyes or soften your gaze? And really pay attention to how your body is feeling. Let's take 3 more breaths here in your own time. Last breath. Slowly begin to walk your way back up. Stretch out your legs in front of you and come to lie down on your back with your arms by your side, palms facing up. And just feel your spine resetting on your mat. In this pose, we just want to allow that spine to neutralize from the forward fold. And again, allowing that breath to calm down and to relax. The breath is the center of every yoga practice. And so if you find yourself wandering in your thoughts, in your mind, just come back to your breath. Let's take 1 more inhale. And as you exhale, slowly begin to come up, taking all the time you need. Back to a seated position. Have your legs stretched out front. We're going to go into a seated forward fold. Take an inhale to lengthen the spine. And exhale, slowly fold forward. In this pose, you're going to feel your hamstrings lengthening. And for those of you who have very tight hamstrings, you could potentially gently bend your knees. Just try to feel how tight your hamstrings are, getting that nice stretch, but not too tight. Gently flex your toes. And again, if you want to use your blocks, you can have them stacked on your thighs and then gently lay your forehead on the block. Allow your arms to rest by your side. And again, really allowing that back to round and relax. Now Doreen is super flexible. She's able to bring her forehead all the way down to her legs. But for a lot of us, including the guys who are practicing yoga, this is really difficult. But I'd like to invite you to really resist trying to pull yourself into that pose. In other styles of yoga, the seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana, really wants you to try and keep a straight back. But for Yin, let's take it a little easy. Really let that back round. You might also feel some stretch in your glutes as well, and that's totally fine. And again, feel free to make any adjustments to find that appropriate depth for you. We're just going to stay here for a couple more breaths. In a seated forward fold, your physical posture is an act of contemplation because you're really trying to focus in. Physically, you're looking into your heart. Now, if your heart could speak to you today, what would it tell you? Let's take one more inhale. And exhale, slowly come back up. And let's come back down one more time on your back. And again, allowing that spine to reset. If you found the last pose really difficult, this is a good time to catch your breath. And allow all those sensations running from your hamstrings to your glutes. Some of you may even feel it in your lower back, in your mid-back. Just allow those feelings to come and go. Throughout this practice, we want to build a mental picture of how our body feels, but not place any judgment. Just simply allowing your body to be. Now in this position, slowly bring both knees into your chest. And having your hands on your knees, begin to do slight rotations. It can be clockwise or anti-clockwise. Be sure to go in both directions. And with each rotation, can you see if you can widen that circumference? Really noticing your personal range of motion. How your hips feel as you rotate outward and inward. And then taking a moment to stay still as you grab onto your right knee and extend your left leg down towards the mat. We're just going to stay here for a couple of breaths, feeling that hip flexor work into your groin, into your hips. And then taking one inhale. On your exhale, gently move your right knee over to your left side into a spinal twist. In your spinal twist, you may want to try to send both your shoulders down onto the mat, and then have your knee inch towards the floor, but don't feel the need to really cram that knee into the floor. As long as you start to feel the stretch in your glutes and your lower back, as you inhale, try to feel the flow of your breath go into your rib cage on the side, creating a lot of space. And as you exhale, holding on to that space as you allow the rest of your body to relax. Notice if you can relax and soften your outstretched leg. Try to relax your face, relaxing that forehead, and really feeling that stretch, nourish, and calm you down. We'll stay here for a couple of more breaths. When you're ready, gently take your right knee back and extend that towards the mat as well, coming back to your neutral position. Again, noticing any sensations that are traveling through your body. Now this time, taking your left knee into your chest. And again, let's just hold here for a couple of breaths, making any small movements to make yourself more comfortable. And then taking an inhale, and exhale, bringing that left knee over to your right side to a gentle spinal twist. And again, noticing that if your left shoulder begins to come off the mat, can you try to keep it going towards the mat? And if that means your knee comes up a little, that's okay. Again, feeling that inflow of breath travel to your rib cage, expanding the spaces between your intercostal muscles. Feeling that stretch in your lower back down to your piriformis and your glutes. And then when you've found the level of stretch that's right for you, again begin to just come to stillness and allow your body to melt into the ground. We'll stay here for a couple of breaths. Inhale and exhale. Now slowly bring that knee back to center and send it down back onto the mat next to your other leg. And again, we just stay in this position to reset the spine, allowing your body to adjust to the stretches. Closing your eyes, coming back to your breath, allowing each inhale and exhale to connect more deeply with your inner self, with the ground beneath you, and to your surroundings. Now from here, slowly come back up, taking your time. And we're going to come into a cat-cow position. Now in cat-cow, what you want to do is to have your wrists stacked below your shoulders and your knees below your waist and your hips. And we'll just take a few moments here just to explore your movement. Perhaps rock your hips from side to side, maybe making some hip rotations. And then we're going to start to focus our attention on the spine. Now, the spine is made up of 3 parts, from your lower back to your mid back and your upper back. And through cat-cow, I'd like you to see if you can bring some attention to each section of your spine as you curl in and curl out of that pose. So we'll start by arching your back, taking an inhale, sending your tailbone up, arching your back, broadening your collarbones as you look forward. And as you exhale, begin to round your spine, moving from your lower back to your upper back, pressing against the floor, looking past your navel, relaxing the back of your neck. One more time, inhale, arch. And exhale, round. We'll do this a couple more times in your own time. In your arched back, try to bring your shoulder blades closer together in a retraction. And then as you exhale, broadening those shoulder blades in a protraction, it's really strengthening that shoulder girdle. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Doreen's doing an excellent job. Now from here, we're going to come back to neutral, and we're going to start to build up some strength in our wrists. So gently shifting your body weight from side to side, noticing how that weight is being distributed across your palms. Building wrist strength is especially very important, especially if you like to join Gaju and Doreen's arm balance classes. You can try to bring your fingers to point towards you. Maybe sitting back on your heels slightly to feel that stretch in your forearms. Coming back up. You can also flip your hands to have the top of your hands on your mat. Now this is pretty intense, so take it one hand at a time, keeping your elbows straight. And we're just working on the flexion and extension of your wrists. Now from here, we're going to go into a slight twist. Inhale, taking your right arm up towards the sky. And then exhale, threading the needle, bringing your right shoulder down to the mat. Now you can have your left arm extend outwards in front of you. Or if you want more of a twist, take that arm and place it towards the back of your body, towards your right thigh. Now this is an opposing stretch for both sides of the shoulder. On the right side, we're really trying to stretch the rhomboids and maybe a bit of your lats. And on the left side, try to open your heart towards the sky, really allowing that chest to shine forward. That's going to stretch the front side of your shoulders, which are your pecs, as well as your deltoids. Begin to come back to your breath, closing your eyes, noticing the inflow and outflow of breath in your lungs. Let's take 3 more breaths here in your own time. Last breath. As you exhale, slowly come back up to tabletop. And again, we'll just move ever so slightly and slowly to feel all the muscles in your body reconnect with your breath. And when you're ready, we'll now go to the other side, taking your left arm up towards the sky in a gentle twist. And then coming down, threading the needle across your right side. Once you've settled into the pose, take your arm variation on the right side, either stretching out front or moving your arm towards the back, catching your left thigh. If you're in this position, gently try to twist and shine the chest forward. In Yin Yoga, we try to notice and focus on how we feel inside. So don't feel like you need to copy exactly what Doreen is doing. Try to really notice what's happening to you. Taking every chance you get to feel and acknowledge any sensations that are coming in your shoulders or your lower back or your hamstrings or your legs. For a lot of people, shoulders tend to be very tight, especially if we're at work all day, constantly trying to fight all the fires that happen at work. So in yoga, we try to bring attention to our body and try to really notice how it's feeling. What kind of shape is it taking? And can we use those shapes to give us more information about what's going on in our lives? Taking one last breath, inhale. And as you exhale, slowly untwist yourself, come back onto tabletop. And from here, we're now going to work on the front side of the body by coming into puppy pose. And in puppy pose, simply start to bring your elbows down to where your palms are and start to crawl forward, allowing your chest to sink into the mat with your hips towards the sky. Now, some of you won't be able to get your chest all the way down to the ground, and that's totally okay. Just try to focus on that expansion in the chest. In a typical yoga class, we might be encouraging you to really press down on your palms to really increase that stretch. But for this class, can you try to relax your hands? Relax your upper body and simply allow gravity to try and bring you closer to where your body can go. We won't stay here too long. From your puppy pose, can you begin to crawl forward and come down into your belly? Bring your forehead to the tops of your hands. And we'll just stay here for a few moments, allowing that spine to reset again. One of the reasons we try to hold the poses for longer is because we want to target not only the muscles in your body, but also the connective tissue. And that includes the ligaments, the tendons, and your fascia. And connective tissue is kind of sticky. It doesn't really want to relax very much if you apply a lot of force to it. It kind of prefers a more gentle, softer approach. And allowing your connective tissue to relax, then allow your muscles to be able to stretch more effectively. Now from this pose, we're going to come into Sphinx pose. So come back onto your forearms. Now this pose, you can do them in a variety of ways. You can have your elbows closer to your body or further apart. Your hands can be outstretched this way or closer together. Your legs can be together or apart. Frankly, it doesn't really matter that much. What we're really trying to do is to find a pose for you that's really going to help you isolate that gentle compression in the lower back, allowing yourself to pull inwards and lift your chest as you shine that chest forward and feeling that arch begin to happen in your lumbar spine as you look forward. Now again, in a yoga class, you might remember your teacher saying to really press down on those toes and really arch that spine to feel that stretch. But in Yin, let's try to relax that lower body. Resist the temptation to really push yourself forward. Just gently bring your chest forward. And notice again how your shoulders are feeling. Are they scrunched up like this, carrying all the worries of the world, or can you gently relax them, pull them back again away from your ears? And just settle into the pose. You can close your eyes. This is a very gentle back bend, and we'll be moving on to a slightly deeper stretch in the next pose. But if this is very difficult for you, just try to come back to your breath, noticing how it's flowing in your body. From the Sphinx pose, gently come back down onto your hands. Maybe turn your head to one side as you allow your body to relax and reset. Before we go into our next pose, I'm just going to explain a little bit. The next pose is seal pose, where you're going to start in a Sphinx, and then you're going to very gently push your way up, extending your arms, straightening your forearms. Again, the positioning of the hands, whether they're here or here or here, it's not really going to matter as much as how your lower spine feels. So let's experiment a little bit. Let's take an inhale, and as you exhale, push yourself up to seal. And try to notice how your different hand placement is going to affect how your spine feels. Again, taking an inhale, expanding the chest forward, and keeping all that space you're creating in your body. Exhale, allowing your body to soften a little more. Now, if this is too intense for you, and it can be for a lot of people, just stay in Sphinx. And allow yourself to feel that gentle compression in your lower back. If you have any lower back problems, just be more sensitive to how it's feeling. And if you're feeling any sharp pains, just come back down on your belly and take a break. But if your lumbar spine is very flexible, then see if you can push yourself up even more. Again, finding that level of depth that's right for you. And that's going to look different for everyone. And we'll stay here for 3 more breaths. Last breath. And whether you're in seal or Sphinx, come back down onto your forehead and look the other way. So we've worked a lot on your hips, your hamstrings, your spine. Now we're going to move towards your toes, your ankles, and your quads, your thighs. So gently come back up, taking your time. And come to sit on your heels. But let's tuck your toes in. This way. Have your hands on top of your thighs, and then we're just going to take a few moments here just to shift that weight from the left foot to the right foot, feeling the stretch in your toes. If this feels super intense for you, you can have a block or a pillow under your knees. And I want you to just close down your eyes and try to connect with your toes. Really try to feel each toe and notice how that weight is making them feel. Our toes are so crucial to help us balance and to walk on our feet every day. And most of us don't pay any attention to them. When you're ready, come to stillness. You might start to feel your ankles, the front side of your calves, your shins. And then open your eyes, and we're going to do a counter stretch by untucking your toes, sitting down your heels, and now you're going to feel that weight distribute across your shin bones and your ankles and the top of your feet. For some of you, you're also going to start feeling a slight activation in your thighs and your quads. Now, if your quads are super tight, you might want to stay here for your next pose. We're going to go into saddle pose, and that's basically reclined hero. So start by gently walking back. And then maybe shifting your hips from side to side as you start to ease your quads into a stretch. If you're super flexible, you can try to come all the way down, first on your forearms and then onto your back. Now, if you start to notice that your knees are starting to pull up, then maybe that's a bit too much for you. So you can either choose to stay or come back up onto your forearms, or just stay right here, right? Totally fine. This is a super intense stretch for your quads. So if you can only stay here for a couple of breaths and you feel you need to come back up, that's totally cool. And of course, if you're at home practicing with us this morning and you have a bolster, just go ahead and place that bolster behind you, or a block. If you're using bolsters or blocks, this is a good chance for you to really open up that chest, feeling those collarbones and your pectoral muscles stretch sideways, laterally. This is going to be the most intense stretch for our class today, and then after that it's going to be easier again. Now, even though this is a really hard stretch, really see if you can try to relax your upper body, allowing yourself to really drape over whatever prop you're on. Relaxing the arms by your side, and try to notice the quality of your breath. Is this super deep stretch causing you to breathe more heavily? And if that's the case, maybe try to ease back into a more accessible pose so that you can start to connect with your breath again. Let's stay for 3 more breaths. Now, coming out of this pose, I'd like you to take as much time as you need, slowly using your hands to push yourself forward, and then coming back to seated, having both legs stretched out front in Dandasana. And just really try to release those muscles you're feeling. Maybe wiggle your toes, maybe bounce or rock your feet left to right. Maybe give yourself a little massage. Then from here, we're going to go back to our hamstrings into Shavasana, taking your left foot into your right thigh, straightening that left leg, taking an inhale to lengthen that spine, and then exhale, slowly crawling forward. So as you can see, I'm not going super low. If I wanted to, I could grab my foot and really pull myself closer, but that's not what we want today. We just want to find yourself into a comfortable, well, slightly uncomfortable, but still mostly comfortable depth. And then really allowing that back to round as much as you can as you relax the back of your neck. Maybe have your palms facing up, and then slowly come back into that contemplative mindset as you breathe in and breathe out. Again, you're going to feel that stretch in your right hamstrings, maybe traveling up into your glutes and down into your calves. You want to try to avoid any pain in the knee area. And if this is really hard for you, you can either come back up a little more, or again, just gently micro-bending that knee so it reduces some of the stress on your hamstrings. We're just going to stay here for a few breaths. For those of you with very tight hamstrings, this might be a little torturous. So find a way to reconnect with that breath, allowing yourself to find some ease in this pose so it's not 100% effort. Let's take one more deep inhale and exhale. Slowly begin to come back up to a seated position, bringing both legs out front, and again, just gently shaking it out, allowing your hamstrings to take it easy for a few moments. We're going to move on to the other side, taking your right leg this time, placing your right foot into the inner thigh of your left leg. Let's inhale, lengthening the spine, and exhale, folding forward. Gentle flexion of the toes and the foot, finding that stretch in your left hamstring. Once again, think about relaxing the back of your neck, relaxing your shoulders, maybe having your palms facing up, really allowing that upper body to drape or cascade over your left leg. If you already can go all the way down, then maybe try to extend your arms forward to give yourself that little bit more stretch. But if you're more like me, then here is fine. Let's just stay here for a few more breaths. Last breath, inhale and exhale. Slowly come back to tabletop position. And then from here, we're going to child's pose, taking your knees as wide as the mat, and then sitting back down onto your heels as you begin to stretch your arms forward, bringing your forehead onto the mat. Now, if you're not able to bring your hips all the way down to your heels, that's okay. Again, resist the temptation to pull and to push and to tug and to really bring in your efforts to 100%. Try to see if you can soften your body with just at a 70% effort. And from here, begin to walk your arms over to the right side of your body. Perhaps bringing your left hand on top of your right hand and start to feel that stretch in your left side body. Again, with each inhale, try to find the breath traveling into your ribcage, expanding in your lungs, bringing more space between each pair of ribs down your thoracic spine. You want to feel a nice long stretch along your side body. Again, let's take 3 breaths here. Last breath. And then coming back to the center of your mat, just pausing for a moment before you begin to move your arms over to the left side this time. Perhaps bringing your right hand on top of your left hand, stretching your right side body. Try to keep both hips grounded on your heels or on the ground. Extending the left side body outward, stretching, feeling each inhale, creating more space in your ribs and in your upper body. And we'll take a few breaths here. And then coming back gently, slowly back to the middle of the mat. And taking all the time you have, slowly begin to crawl your way up. And come to lie down on your back. Now on your back, we're going to start with a figure 4 stretch, bringing your left foot onto the mat, knees bent. And let's take your right foot and place it on top of your left knee. Threading your right arm into the hole you've created, and then just gently pulling your left leg into your chest. Try to relax your shoulders down onto the mat, relaxing your tailbone down towards the mat, perhaps gently flexing both your feet, feeling that stretch in your right glutes and your right hip. For those of you looking for a slightly deeper stretch, you could take your hand and maybe placing it on your right knee, gently pressing it outwards. But if that's too deep for you, just remain in your position. Again, allowing your breath to be at the center of your practice. Let's take one more inhale and exhale. Gently place your left foot down and we'll switch to the other side. Left foot on your right knee. Gently hugging your right leg this time closer to your chest. Now feeling the stretch in your left glutes, in your left hip. As we approach the end of the practice, And you begin to notice even more how your body feels this morning. Can you let go of even more tension? Taking one more breath, inhale and exhale. Bring that right foot down. Let's come back onto your back, sending both your feet to the corners of your mat, arms down by your side. Stay for a few moments. We have one more pose to go into before the final resting pose. Just take a few moments here to reset. Before we go into Shavasana, the second last pose is to go into a supported bridge. So take a block or a bolster and place it on your sacrum. And it can be on this height or this height, depending on how your lower back feels. You can start with your knees bent, and then over time, gently extend those legs out front to begin to really feel that stretch in your lumbar spine. Allowing your shoulders to relax, allowing your feet to open to the side, palms facing up, softening your gaze, softening your face. As you approach the end of the class today, I'd like to take a moment just to thank all of you for tuning in. Thank you so much. This is actually my first time going live, so it's super exciting for me. And Gaju, I think, has a lot of other plans coming up, so be sure to keep tuning in. The studio's Instagram is align.sg, and I'm at yin.yoga. Feel free to ask us any questions about today's practice. Or if you have any comments or feedback, we're open to hearing all of them. Now we'll take one more inhale, and then gently removing the block from under your back and come into your final resting pose, Shavasana. In your final resting pose, allow your body to begin to relax, allow your breathing to resume its normal pace and rhythm. Closing down your eyes. Beginning to bring attention to your breath once more. Now, if you're at home practicing with us, feel free to stay in Shavasana for a while longer, for as long as you want. We have only a couple more minutes left, so we're going to come back up to a seated position to close the class. So very gently, roll over to one side, and keeping your eyes closed, come back to a cross-legged seated position. We're going to take a few moments here just to check in with ourselves, noticing how your body feels right now versus 60 minutes ago when we started the class. Perhaps remembering your intention for the class today and carrying that with you for the rest of the day or throughout the week. We'll bring your hands together, palm center. Gentle bow of the head. Let's take one inhale together as a class. Inhale and exhale. And on your next breath, slowly, gently open your eyes. Namaste.